Okay, so this particular problem that we're going to do right now is from your homework assignment. I believe it is slide 7 of 11. All right, so we have an airplane is flying 30 degrees south of east at 500 miles per hour. The wind is blowing in the direction of 45 degrees north of east at 55 miles an hour. Find the direction angle of the airplane adjusted for the wind. Okay, so I always like to draw these things. It kind of makes it a little bit helpful. So if I know that anything to do with the ground is the airplane plus the wind, that's going to help. Okay, so ground is airplane plus the effect of the wind. Okay, now I know there are a couple different ways to do these. I like working with component form, so I'm going to draw it and I'm going to use the component form to help me out. Okay, so the issue with component form is you do need to have your angles in standard position. There are other ways to do these, but I do find component form a little bit easier. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. So the airplane is flying 30 degrees south of east. So if this right here is east, the positive x-axis, then south of that would be downward. So we're going to go 30 degrees downward from east. And that's going to be the airplane, so that should be a whole lot longer. So let's redraw, because that's going 500 miles an hour. Okay, so that's 30 degrees and 500 miles an hour. Okay, and then we have the wind that is blowing in the direction of 45 degrees north of east at 55 miles an hour. So we want to go north of east, so that would be up from east. Okay, just like that. So that would be 55, and this is 45. Okay, now anything to do with the ground, okay, is the airplane plus the wind. So what we can do is we can draw a parallelogram. Okay. Oops, it's not very straight. Okay. And then realize that, whoops. There we go. All right, and then realize that the ground is going to be the diagonal between the two. Okay. Okay, and again, as I said, I do like component form for this. I find it easier. Okay, now the problem is that one of our angles here is not in standard position. So this 30-degree angle is not in standard position. So when we do our component form, we're gonna have to fix that. Okay. All right, so let's do the airplane first. Okay, our airplane has a magnitude of 500 miles. Now, our angle given is 30 degrees south of east. In standard position, our angle would be 330, okay? Because remember, standard position, we want to go from the positive x-axis counterclockwise, okay? Okay, we have to be in standard position. It's not too bad of a change for this one, but you do have to change it. Okay, so let's do our component form. So we're going to go 500 cosine 330, and then 500 sine 330. Okay, and we want to make sure our answer is in the fourth quadrant. So if I run that on my calculator, I get 433 and negative 250. Okay, again, this is in the fourth quadrant, so my answer does make sense. Okay, so now let's talk about the wind. The wind has a magnitude of 55. Now its direction angle is okay. It's already in standard position, so I don't have to change anything. So 45 degrees. All right, here we go. Component form. All right. So if I put that in my calculator, I get 38.9. I'm sorry, looking at the wrong notes. 48.9 or 38.9. And 38.9. Again, makes sense, should be in the first quadrant as I drew it. Okay, so now what we're going to do to find the ground is we're going to add those. Okay. So 433 plus 38.9, comma, negative 250 plus 38.9. And if I add those, I get 471.9 and then negative 211.1. Okay, so now I have the component. So now what I can do is I can use my little tangent formula. To find my angle. All right, so run tangent inverse. And I get negative 24.1 degrees. Okay, so, and then, since it's a multiple choice question, I look at my answers and I go, well, it's there, but it also gives me cardinal directions. Okay, and none of my numbers are negative, so I need to think about this. So if everything is in standard position when I worked, that means this negative 24.1 is measured from the standard from the positive x-axis. So if I use cardinal directions, and notice that all of them say south then east, so that means you're going to start south and then go east. So I want to find this angle measured from the south. So I want to find this degree measure right here. So how am I going to do that? Well, the answer is you're going to subtract from 90. Okay, you're in the fourth quadrant, you have the negative 24. So you're going to combine it with the 90 to figure out what this is. Okay, so you go 90 minus 24.1. Okay, and it's not that the negative 24.1 is incorrect, it's just a different way or a different perspective of measuring. So if we look at our angle, it's going to be south, then 65.9 degrees east. Okay, so again, very important of where you're measuring from. Okay, so just keep track of where you are, what you're using, what the problem, how the problem is presenting its information, because again, this can be very confusing. Okay, just keep track and you will get it. Okay, all right.